we face several key challenges, including reconciling competing and interrelated dynamics of the three pillars to ensure good equilibrium and maximum flexibility in an evolving energy landscape, significant international policy developments such as the impact of indigenous shale gas in the United States on EU energy prices and on geopolitics generally.
Fianna Fáil energy spokesman Timmy Dewey said because of our dependence on tourism and agri-food, Ireland should say no to fracking from the outset.
For a country as small as Ireland, with a strong tourism industry, with a diversely populated land that we have, it's just not an option. Now, I know there are exploratory licenses there to carry out sort of the early stages. I think we'd have done better from the start if we just said, no thanks, we're not interested.
It was a stance that Sinn Féin energy spokesman Deputy Michael Colreevy agreed with.
If we look at the countries where fracking is, even if we accept the denials of the damage that has been done in those countries, and some damage has been done by hydraulic fracturing in those countries, what they don't have is a small green island with a dispersed population and a reputation for our agri-food that's based on clean and green. And I think it's bordering on economic suicide to even consider introducing hydraulic fracturing into an island. The nature of the one that we are privileged to live in.
Minister Rabbitte said while he agreed with the deputy's concern, Ireland needed to have an informed position.
As a member country of the European Union, where this subject inevitably continues to come up from time to time, Ireland needs to have a position, and therefore I think it's important that Ireland's position is informed by the best scientific and technical advice available to it. I entirely agree with Deputy Colreevy about anything that would despoil the natural beauty of the more scenic aspects of this country, of course, would be unacceptable. But I think, it takes something like the Ukraine crisis to bring home to people that when they sleep easy in their beds at night, in the conviction that when they plug in the kettle in the morning, that it will boil, and when they turn on the light, that it will work. These are things that we can't be cavalier about.
Deputy Dooley also asked the Minister about the position of the liquefied natural gas project on the Shannon Estuary and Tarbert in County Kerry. The Minister said he had met representatives of the project last night.
It's not right to say that it has prevented LNG at Tarbert from going ahead. In fact, only last night, coincidentally, I met LNG last night. I met the promoters of the LNG plant at Tarbert last night, and I would continue to be very hopeful that will provide an extra string to our bow in terms of an LNG facility at Tarbert, Chairman. And at the moment, I'm actively working with the promoters to see how government can be helpful and facilitate that, and I would have every hope for it for the future.
And again, Deputy Patrick O'Donovan welcomed this, saying the economic impact on the region was considerable.
From my part of the country, it's very important to hear that lines of communication between yourselves and the promoters of LNG are maintained open, because certainly from the West Limerick, North Kerry part of the world, the size of the development is proposed there, leaving aside the regulatory issues, would certainly help in no small way to transform the economy of the whole of the Midwestern region.
The chair of the committee, Deputy John O'Mahony, asked the Minister when the report of the expert panel on the Grid Link and Grid West project, chaired by retired Judge Catherine McGuinness, would be ready. The Minister gave the following reply.
They will have their work done, but it's the supervision of the integrity of the process that will go on.
So, and what happens
next after that then? I mean, is there...
Well, as soon as the reports are available then on route-specific underground costings, both that and the cost of the overhead transmission will go up to public consultation. Both of them. People will be able to compare one with the other, and we will have the debate, hopefully in a calmer environment, about why it is necessary, howsoever we do it, to ensure that we have a grid in this country that's fit for purpose.
Minister 2014, section by section. However, it wasn't long before problems caused by the cap on state rent supplements was raised. Richard Boyd Barrett of People Before Profit said the caps were a false economy, as putting people up in temporary hotel accommodation was costing much more.
One figure I heard in Dunera down from official in the housing department is €800 a week to put somebody in a hotel. That's $3,200 a month, and the rent cap for that person is, I think, $975. It's crazy.
Minister O'Sullivan said this problem would soon be addressed.
There is a protocol being worked on at the moment by the Dublin authorities with the Department of Social Protection with regard to providing flexibility where there's a family in danger or an individual in danger of losing their homes because of rent caps. And that protocol will be announced in the next 2 weeks, I think sometime, about 2 weeks' time.
Committee members told the Minister that people were being forced to add to the rent supplement in order to secure housing. Independent Deputy Catherine Murphy said in extreme circumstances local authorities would breach the caps, but it made little difference.
I have a young woman with very premature twins that is homeless, and those babies are going to they're homeless at the moment. They're due to go home to I don't know where, and that was the case that was put to. They were in intensive care. That was the arrangement. That was the point that was made to the Department of Social Protection, and they did relax the rent caps by €50 a month, and there is nothing that I can find that comes anyway close. It's hundreds in the difference.
Sinn Féin's Desi Ellis agreed.
There's no doubt that, as Deputy Murphy said, that people are topping up on the rent supplements across the board, and it's quite common. So when we introduce HAP, how many people are going to fall by the wayside when this happens? That's I'd be a bit worried that we will have an issue in terms of what is going to be provided by the local authorities in terms of funding, and then how are some of the tenants will certainly try and talk to the landlords to top up, and that's something we want to try and avoid.
But the Minister told the committee that the government is working to resolve the problem.
One of the reasons why we are implementing the homeless policy is that we want people who are currently in the urgent hostel type or urgent accommodation, we want to be able to move them into homes so that we can make space for the urgent cases that come up. Because the tradition has been that people have stayed in what's meant to be short-term accommodation for long periods of time. So home where they have support is what we're trying to achieve in the policy.